Welcome back to Movie Mining with Nardi and Phil. We are on episode 3. This week we watched Slingshot. First, do a brief recap of episode 2 in case you missed it. We watched the Natalia Light film Bear. Nardi gave it 6 nuggets. I gave it 3. Nardi, you want to say anything else about Bear here before we move on to Slingshot?
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. This is episode 1. This is basically episode 1.
Yeah? Is that how you feel? Is that why you're wearing the sunglasses and you're ready to go?
Dude, Natalia Lights' Bear. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. 6 nugs. Gave 3 to Darling. And now here we are. Let's. You slept 12 hours ago, dude? That's nice.
I'm just letting you know. So anyway, Slingshot. Let's talk about Slingshot. Slingshot was a little bit different than everything else we've done so far. This was a documentary about the guy who invented the Segway and how he's trying to now solve the world's water pollution crisis. What did you think, Nardi?
Well, first off, I wasn't expecting it to be so important. When I picked that movie out of the list of, in the list of 5 movies I sent to you, I literally breezed past it, thought I saw an Indian guy on a Segway, and thought maybe, hey, they gave an Indian dude a Segway. I wonder what this documentary is about. This could be cool.
Yeah.
Am I clipping?
Yes, you are clipping. No, it was. What did you actually think, though? Okay, so you thought that this was going to be a documentary about a Segway. I think the Segway was in it for 10 minutes. It was really funny when they're talking about it. What is going to be it? I don't really remember that in my lifetime because I guess I was only like 10 years old, 11 years old. We were young when that happened. But this it was so blown up and ended up being a Segway. What is the mindset of the world when that happens?
Dude, they said it was going to change the way everybody lived. They literally thought there would be teleportation in 2002, and they got a Segway instead. Literally a less glorified scooter.
Less glorified. I like that you're considering that a less glorified scooter. How is that like a push scooter, like a Razor? You're saying that's more glorified?
No. Like like a moped type scooter.
Oh, okay. So you mean that one? Okay, but so he invented the Segway. That's his big claim to fame. How cool was this guy though?
He was inspiring, surprisingly inspiring.
Like
he had a lot of quotes that I liked.
Yeah, dude. There was the one about oh my God, I actually wrote it down and now I can't remember what it was. It was like all of the decisions we make in our life is just a bunch of oh God, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna find it. Say something, Nardi. I'm gonna find this quote and I'm gonna use it for you because it was so good. Every decision you make is a set of compromises. The only thing we have a finite amount of is our time. That was from this guy who invented the Segway.
Yeah, and people think he's dead. They think he's done. They think he's in the. They think this man invented the Segway and immediately crashed and died on the Segway,
riding off a cliff.
Yeah. I really liked the speech he gave about the bike. Apparently he's Jewish, which I didn't know until this story. And he got pushed on a bike and then told the kid, if you don't want me to ride around anymore, you're gonna have to kill me. And then I immediately wished that I had been oppressed in such a way that I could respond in such a way.
Dude, I was like floored by this guy half the time he was saying things like that. Like that bike speech was so good. That's like the ultimate way to just tell somebody that you hate them and that you're gonna win, and then it actually works out. I mean, this guy, it seemed like everything this guy ever needed to go right in his life just went right because he was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to invent a Segway one day. I'm going to be the man one day. I mean, he said, I'm going to have a helicopter in my house one day. And he has a helicopter that he flies out of his garage.
Yeah, but
to work.
He has no kids though, man. And he loves it. But there was still a certain he's so happy that he never had kids. Yet there was the saddest music playing.
Well, because his parents were like sad that he never had kids. And I thought that really was telling. Like his parents almost felt like, man, he would have been such a good father. He missed out. And that's when he makes the compromises speech about, you have to make every decision is just a set of compromises. I mean, that was just like, to me, that's just like, it seemed like it was written. Even though it was a documentary, and like I buy that this guy said all this because he seemed like he was just a genius who like was a really deep thinking guy, and that's why he's invented as much stuff as he's invented. But like that almost seemed like it was scripted to me because that line was like so good, especially, I mean, obviously they edited together, but following up the whole thing about not having kids, he's never been married. I mean, it's a huge house, and you can tell it's a lonely, lonely house, almost Darling-esque, dare I say.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Philip J. Wood. You get geniuses like this. You get like Nikolai Tesla, for example, literally abstinent his entire life, dedicated to, fiddling with electricity. And then you get this guy, Dean Kamen, inventor of the Segway and the Slingshot water machine, which the documentary is about. And he doesn't have kids. He says he's fine with it, but they're playing sad music anyway because they know we think that it's sad. Is this guy missing out on a crucial part of life? Like, if you skip out on all that stuff and make the world a better place, are you still going to be dissatisfied later when you're like, wow, I'm 70 and I helped a lot of people, but there are no people that are my people?
I don't know, man, because there's like a lot of people that I know who don't have kids and they also haven't changed anything in the world. So I guess that's a little more depressing. And at least this guy, he's done something sort of good to make things better and he's happy with it. I mean, he seems super content with it. It seemed like he said, like he would never be able to have enough time to, or the patience for kids. And like, I totally buy that. I mean, me? No, absolutely not. I'd be like I'd be a recluse. I would not get anything done. I'd just go through depression all the time and be like, oh, I'm alone in this giant house and I have all this money and everyone only likes me because I do things for them, not because they want to like me.
You'd be the best dad, Phil.
Thanks, Nardi. You got the dad face. That's what you got going on. This guy seemed like a dad. That's what was even crazier.
Yeah.
Like, he seemed like a dad.
Yeah, no, kids loved him. Kids absolutely adored him throughout the whole movie.
He invented the program first, and I didn't know anything about it until watching this movie. I mean, this is a documentary I'm honestly surprised didn't pick up more steam. I feel like this was something – it's like the opposite of both Bear and Darling. Darling's a great midnight movie. Bear is a movie that you can watch, I guess, if you really want to. This is like a movie that like I'm just surprised more people haven't seen because it's just like got big ideas and it's not overly – with this whole save the water and everything like that. And it's actually an inspirational movie. Like, I really did find it to be an inspirational movie.
No, let's just shed the fur, dude. Like, this is like an actual hidden gem in that it is genuinely surprising that this guy's story isn't more well known with what he's done. Like this guy, this was a very quick section in the movie, but you go into a Five Guys Burgers and Fries and go to that Coke machine where you literally touch the screen and all the different options and it comes out. This guy made that for Coke just so they would ship his machines to everywhere throughout the world to give people pretty much clean water. And dude, those machines are everywhere. And people think this guy's dead. Yeah. They think he crashed on a Segway.
Well, I liked the opening, how they were like, do you know who Dean Kamen is? And nobody knew. And like, yeah, he invented the Segway. But everything else he's done, yeah, like he did the Coke freestyle machines and he did, he's doing this whole thing with the water and everything. How did more people not know who he is? And how is this not a bigger documentary? Why is there not a movie made about this guy, like a real movie?
No, it makes no sense. This thing was buried so deep when I was like scrolling through to like pick this out that I literally thought it was going to be like a weird, cheesy comedy, like, oh, Slingshot, this could be funny. And then it turned out to be pretty inspiring. He in about an hour and a half catapulted himself up to where I kind of hold like Ray Kurzweil. I don't know if you know who that is, or Elon Musk. Everybody knows who Elon Musk is. Like into that like stratosphere of just influential go-getter, is literally not going to let the status quo or what's expected hold him down. Kind of cliche, but when you see the real life version of it, it's not cliche anymore. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and he kept saying he's going to be an overnight success in 20 years. That's all he kept saying. Like, every overnight success he's ever had took 20 years. And, like, to me, that's just, like, one of those things. That's why he doesn't have kids and everything, because he had to work on this every day so that he could have his overnight success in 20 years. My favorite thing, how I don't understand how this movie hasn't been made, this guy is such a character. He wears only denim every day. He has the same shirts and the same pants. He has, like, 100 of them. And he wears the exact same ones every day.
What is this about geniuses that they just wear the same? Like, they go out of their way, dude. Mark Zuckerberg does the same exact thing.
In the mindset. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just they feel comfortable in it. It's something they don't want to think about is like, how are people viewing me? Because you know how people are viewing you. You're wearing the same thing every time.
You think it's like I don't know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got food, shelter, water, friendship, social circles, entertainment, art, self-actualization up top. Maybe they just cross out all the extra stuff. They're like, oh, okay, we don't even have to worry about clothes anymore, fashion. That's just extra. And then somehow that does boost their mind in other areas, maybe. Like, it's like the 15 minutes I spend a day, like, oh, this shirt makes me look way too fat. I'm not going out in this. Does that, like, take away from, like, another genius idea I could have had in 5 years? Is that how that works?
You take 15 minutes to figure out that a shirt makes you look fat?
Dude, that's low key, dude. It probably takes me a good half hour minimum. Suck it in, push it out, suck it in, turn.
So you're one of those guys.
Yeah, man.
So you really should. You should just wear the same thing every day and just be good with it.
I was in a normcore for a while, dude. And you know what? Not worth it, man. Got to stand out in this world, Phil.
I think I'm in the normcore. I think by your definition of core, I think I'm in it. But I mean, is this guy normcore by wearing all denim all day, every day?
No, he's a comic book superhero who happens to wear all denim.
He's a comic book. It's a good way to describe this guy. It's a good way to describe this guy.
Against all odds.
I mean, he did. Why is he against all odds?
Because, dude, against all odds of what should be normal or should be accomplished by an average human being. Like, he had those giant pictures of those, well, I mean, this was a little flawed, but the 6 dudes who changed history, and then he had that comment, like everything else in between was pretty much nothing. That was a little insane, but yeah, a normal person doesn't accomplish that much. So, yeah, it's against the odds.
Yeah, dude, his 6 people, he said like in 2,200 years or something like that, 6 people have changed the world. And it's like, man, that's really giving credit to nobody. I mean, 6 people, come on. Like,
dude,
come on.
He shrugged at the camera, like, I wonder what the next man's going to do. Looks at camera. Or woman. Yeah, okay, dude. That's what you think.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys who's still living in the 50s. There's no doubt in my mind.
But you know what? That doesn't take away. I still like him, man. He needed to have one flaw. It's not even a big one.
He was the man. I'm going to be honest. Just to throw a rating out there on this instantly, if I was going out of 4, I'd give this like 3.5 stars, 3.5 nuggets. Like, I really would. Like, this was one of the better documentaries I've ever seen, and maybe just because I didn't know about it. In most documentaries, you hear like Exit Through the Gift Shop and Man on Wire, which are both fantastic documentaries. You hear so much about them. Then when you watch them, it turns out it's a documentary. Like, you know, and this, I didn't know what I was getting into. And I think that made it so much better of a documentary.
Yeah, I was not expecting this either. And it made it better, I think. Yeah, like you said, you always get the hype of those crazy documentaries. And what made this guy's ideas so great is that they humanized the ideas first before he got super philosophical. So you weren't like rolling your eyes right away. And then by the time he snuck that stuff in, you're like, wow. And then he's living proof that what he says works.
Exactly. He's not just one of those guys who's walking around saying, look how pretentious I can be and look at the words I'm using. I mean, there were some sentences where I was like, I don't know what any of those words meant. But like, he had set up as being such a genius and as actually doing so much, and like, it's not staged. So yeah, you can go with it.
One of my favorite parts, which I actually forgot about until this just got brought up, was obviously edited together shots of him reading or whatever. And he was like, you can call me a genius if you want, but I just read the thing and I read it again and I think about it again, and then I read it again. And then maybe eventually it all starts to make sense. Like, people just assume, like, oh, this person knows this amount of whatever does this, they must be a genius. It's something I can never reach. It's like the same thing of you looking at a professional athlete. Oh, I can never do this. Well, really, you're just a certain number of steps away. There is a clear way to get there. You just have to push all the other stuff aside. Like, yeah, you need to read. You need to think about this stuff. You're not just going to become smart overnight. But you can hack your own brain to become smarter just by constantly practicing, like anything else.
How about that? That was deep. I mean, I'm going to go and I'm going to say with this guy, everybody assumes, like, you know, the geniuses, they're doing the Goodwill Hunting where they're just flipping pages and everything's going into their brain. And like, this guy's dyslexic. And like, he reads things numerous times, like you said, and yeah, he figured it out. And that's what he liked to do. And I like the whole thing with his father, where his dad was an artist, and like, his dad always worked and was always working as an artist. And he like felt bad because he's like, you never go and you never play with your kids and this and that and the other thing. And it's like, no, don't ever feel bad for me. I love what I'm doing. And like, it's the whole don't work a day in your life if you do what you love. And like, that's what the father did. And he really bestowed it on this guy who just happened to love doing genius things and solving problems, as he puts it. You don't wake up and say, oh, I'm going to have the next genius idea. You wake up and you say, oh, that's a problem. We should fix that.
I mean, how many old people need to die a week after retirement before the greater percentage of America realizes you just need to be doing something that you like, or doing something that adds some sort of purpose to your life, not just getting you through the next paycheck or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And that's this guy's whole mentality. The mom says, hey, you should stop doing this. You need to stop working so much. And he goes, well, what project do you want me to stop? You want me to stop doing this one? You want me to stop doing this one? You want me to stop doing this one? And she says no to all of them. And he's like, well, there you go. That's why I'm not stopping.
Like, this movie was what, like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half or something like that?
It was an hour. I think it was like an hour 28. Yeah.
This guy covered so much and so little. I mean, not in his actual life, but just the amount of things he did and how applicable it all really is. It gives a small man at least a glimmer of hope. I don't think I could go out there and change the world tomorrow, but it just proves, like I was saying before, you push certain obstacles out of the way, have a clear-cut angle that you're trying to get at, you can make a difference.
Yeah, dude. And I think I really am shocked that there's not like a 2-hour movie on this guy, like with an actor playing him. And like go, I mean, it looked like a young, like if Al Pacino was younger or something like that, like he could have totally played this role. You know what I mean? Like this is, I'm shocked that there's nothing. Maybe there is something in the works, but the fact that this movie has like 620 votes on IMDb, nobody's really ever heard of it, and it's just out there. Like, and this guy is doing so much and so brilliant, and like nobody knows. It blows my mind.
Well, two things. One is this is a personal opinion. I really thought he looked like Henry Rollins. I was like, oh, this guy kind of looks like Henry Rollins. What was I about to say?
I don't know. You got some,
secondly,
some serious indigestion.
Yeah, it's all good. Secondly, we kind of went into this whole movie mining thing. We really, like, the odds were stacked against us that we would actually find, a diamond in the rough, whatever it may be, amongst the piles and piles of movies that Netflix buys. And I'm genuinely surprised, episode 3, that we found something like this that was so profound and so unheard of at the same time.
Yeah, and it looked like this took them forever to make. I mean, it looked like there were shots from 2007 and maybe even earlier, and it came out in 2015. I mean, this was a really long process for a documentary, and maybe that's just why it got kind of pushed to the side, is because it took so long to actually get out there. But I can't believe that a bigger distributor didn't pick this up.
How do you react when you've spent God knows how long making a movie like this that is actually this important, and then it's just a dud?
I don't know.
Do you just give up?
I mean,
the guy who directed
it, Paul Lazarus is his name. I'm not sure if he did anything else. I'll look him up now. But he, you got to be thinking, like, he's got to be a little annoyed. I mean, because anybody who makes anything, you make it because you want people, like, you want it to be good, obviously, but you also want it to be seen. I mean, that's why you're making it. And he's got to be somewhat annoyed, right? That like this movie is just, it's on the back burner everywhere. Like nobody knows this exists, and maybe it's the first good thing we've ever done.
Yeah, honestly, maybe. Please watch the movie. It is short, sweet, gets to the point, inspiring, and you'll come out having another hero, a real hero, not like a sports icon or entertainment icon, which he also discusses in the movie.
Yeah, he does. He's very all about the fact that the kids could come in and name all these actors and all these sports players and everything, and could not name one single scientist or engineer or whatever it was. And it's true. I mean, I couldn't name most of the any of that stuff. Like he said, living ones, and it was like the one guy's like, I think Einstein, but I'm pretty sure they're dead, or he's dead. And it's like, yeah, that's a good guess.
I mean, you have your Bill Nyes and Neil deGrasse Tysons who, like, they weave their way into entertainment just so they can, like, broaden that window. But the actual, like, lab heroes who are, like, doing the hard work, no, they don't get literally any recognition.
No, I agree. So how many nuggets you giving this, Nardi?
I guess I have to stick to my my 10 scale here. I'm gonna go 8. So I guess that would be 4 out of 5 if you round. No, it's 8 out of 10 nuggets. because it sounds higher than 4 out of 5. That's what I'm giving it.
8 out of 10. All right, cool. Yeah, and I give it 3.5 out of 4, which I guess probably like 8.5 out of 10. I mean, this was really good. Like this was really, really good. I hope more people see this, and I'm kind of scared for whatever's coming next because I have a feeling it's not going to quite live up to this hype.
Yeah. What are we watching next? What was it called?
Well, I threw 5 at Nardi already, and we're going to do this now so that anybody who wants to pay attention can go and watch the movie before we actually put the podcast up. If you want, you don't have to, but if you want, now at least you have the option. And I threw 5 movies at Nardi, which he ended up picking Well Wishes. That's what's gonna be next week.
Well Wishes. I'm excited because I haven't heard of it, so it made the cut.
It made the cut, and it's got a follow-up Slingshot, and it better be damn good. Otherwise, this might be one of those that just suffers from following up a good act, you know?
It's fine, dude. I'm satisfied. We found a hidden gem that's hidden from the hidden gems. Like you click the hidden gem category on Netflix, you're not gonna find this there. We manually mined this thing out of the dirt, dude, and it was worth it. It was actually worth it.
It was. I agree. I thought this was just great. You have anything else you want to say about Slingshot?
I hope that guy's machines get everywhere that they need to go, and definitely watch the movie. Nothing else can really be said, man. It was great.
Yeah, go check it out. Like we said, next time we're live, it'll be Well Wishes. So if you wanna see that, check it out beforehand, and then you can discuss along with us.
Nighty night, Phil.
Nighty night. Yeah, it's like midnight for you. Good night, Nardi. Go to sleep in that attire, okay?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, till next time.